is Hayes Q Jones, your DVD and Blu-ray baller on a budget, and this is HQ Videos for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a current subscriber, what's up? You're greatly appreciated. Come on in, make yourself at home. This channel is for movie lovers of all types, genres, and formats. Doesn't matter if your genre is VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, 3D, 4K, doesn't matter. Same with the genre, drama, sci-fi, documentaries, adventure, action, everyone's welcome here. This week for my collection video, I wanted to focus on movie flops that either ruined or drastically damaged or stained an actor's or actress's career. And I know we've probably all been to the movies that have been hyped up so much, they spent billions of dollars, you have the biggest names on there, and you go there and it's just like, it's not about the money, it's like, can I get my time back? It's that type of movie. So I'm focusing on the top 10 movies that either ruined or very much stained a person's career. And all these movies aren't necessarily that bad. A couple of them, yeah, and I do mention that some aren't that bad. Just some of the critics just really just shot these films down. So without further ado, sit back, relax, have a drink of a smoke, and I'll catch you on the other end of this video. We are back at the Black Cave. Back at the Black Cave. We are back at the motherfucking Black Cave. I'm going to kick it off with my number 10 pick for movie flops that almost ruined or did ruin an actor's or actress's career. At my number 10 pick is the 2006 action-adventure science fiction film, Superman Returns. This was directed by Bryan Singer, which I was surprised when I looked this up. Produced by Gilbert Adler, written by Michael Dougherty. This stars Brandon Routh, Kate Bosworth, Kevin Spacey, and James Marsden, as well as Parker Posey. The plot behind this, Superman returns to discover his 5-year absence has allowed Lex Luthor to walk free, and that those he was closest to felt abandoned and have moved on. Luthor plots his ultimate revenge, and that could see millions killed and change the face of planet Earth forever, as well as ridding himself of the Man of Steel. And after this movie, I don't know of anything else Brandon Routh has done. And I remember this movie quite vividly, well, somewhat vividly, because my wife and I were actually dating when this came out. And the big kick to this is that it was in 3D. The whole movie wasn't in 3D. It was just probably about maybe a minute and a half of 3D within the whole movie. But I actually fell asleep in the movie. I remember that. The movie was just so bland. For a superhero picture, you would think it would have a little bit more pizzazz, especially with someone like Bryan Singer directing it. But the movie flopped. I'm looking through my COZ Movies app, and these are all the movies that Brandon Routh did in my collection. I couldn't really pick him out of any other movies. So I think after doing this, being associated with one of the biggest franchises in movie history, Superman, and to be associated with such a big flop, I think that just killed his career. So my number 10 pick, Superman Returns. My number 9 pick is the 1995 action-adventure science fiction thriller, Waterworld. This was directed by Kevin Reynolds, produced by Kevin Costner,
written by Peter Rader. This stars Kevin Costner, Chaim Jaffe, Rick Aviles, R.D. Call, and Zito Kazan. The plot behind this: in a futuristic world where the polar ice caps have melted and made Earth a liquid planet, a beautiful barmaid rescues a mutant seafarer from a floating island prison. They escape along with their young charge, Enola, and sail aboard his ship. But the trio soon becomes the target of a menacing pirate who covets the map of Dryland, which is tattooed on Enola's back. And I guess what really made this was a huge flop is they spent like millions and millions of dollars on this movie. It was one of the biggest budgets, I believe, of the year. And the movie, only thing I remember in the movie is this scene where he's urinating and he's recycling the urine and drinking it. It's a lot of that going on, a lot of kind of lull and dead moments, not a lot of action. And for the amount of money you put in it, you would think it would be a lot bigger movie than it was. Did this ruin his career? No, but it definitely, I think, put a stain on his career. I don't think this is one of the movies he would like to mention in interviews, Waterworld. And again, it was just a very lackluster movie. Even though I know they've come out with a 4K of this, I think this is more of a cult classic just on how bad it was. So my number 9 pick, Kevin Costner and Waterworld. My number 8 pick is the 2005 action-adventure comedy family fantasy film, Son of Mask. This was directed by Lawrence Gutterman, produced by Kent Alterman, and written by Lance Kazai. This stars Jamie Kennedy, Alan Cumming, Liam Faulkner, Ryan Faulkner, and Traylor Howard. The plot behind this: Tim Avery, an aspiring cartoonist, finds himself in a predicament when his dog stumbles upon the mask of Loki. Then, after conceiving an instant son born of the mask, he discovers just how loony child raising can be. And this is one of those movies that never should have been made. Never a big Jamie Kennedy fan, but his name seemed to kind of disappear from major films after this. And I believe the really killer part of this, and by the way, this is New Line Cinema, Universal, and of course Warner Brothers. But back to Son of Mask. Jamie Kennedy, in the 90s, he was kind of picking up a little steam. And I think the big killer of this movie, it didn't have Jim Carrey. The only reason why The Mask was as outstanding and interesting and funny as it was is because of Jim Carrey. Without Jim Carrey, it was just another B movie. And this was exactly what it was. And after this, I couldn't name a Jamie Kennedy movie after this. I'm sure he did some though, but this, I believe, was a career killer for him. So my number 8 pick, number 8 pick, Son of the Mask. My number 7 pick, this is the 2011 action-adventure comedy crime drama family fantasy film, Big Mama's Like Father, Like Son. It's directed by John Whitesell, produced by William Paul Clark, written by Matthew Fogel. This stars Martin Lawrence, Brandon T. Jackson, Jessica Lucas, Michelle Ang, and Portia Doubleday. The plot behind this: FBI agent Malcolm Turner and his 17-year-old son Trent go undercover at an all-girls performing arts school after Trent witnesses a murder. Posing as Big Mama and Charmaine, they must find the murderer before he finds them. And this really killed Brandon T. Jackson's career, in my opinion, and also in his opinion. There was an interview that he did, and he just said, for some reason, when he put on the dress, his career was never the same. And this is 20th Century Fox release. And just to give you an example, using my COZ Movies app, he did in 2011, 2016, Eloise, no one ever heard of that. But before that, he was doing Fast and Furious movies. He did a movie with Lil Bow Wow in 2010, Operation Endgame, Percy Jackson, he did in 2010. They gave him a recurring role in the reboot in 2013, but most of his big movies were before Big Mama's House. And Big Mama's House 3 is just one of those movies that shouldn't have been made. The first one, it was clever, it was funny, it was a throwback to people like Milton Berle, Flip Wilson when he was doing Geraldine, Martin Lawrence when he did Shanae, Jamie Foxx when he did Wanda. So you can get away with it one or two movies, unless you're Tyler Perry, and even Tyler Perry's starting to wear a little bit thin. You're not going to get away with it too much often. And I think as a result, his career never really recovered. So my number 10987 pick, Brandon T. Jackson, Big Mama House, Like Father, Like Son. My number 6 pick is the 1995 action-adventure comedy, Cutthroat Island. This was directed by Rennie Harlin, produced by John Baldacci, written by Michael Frost Beckner. This stars Gina Davis, Matthew Modine, Frank Langella, Maury Chaykin, and Patrick Malahide. The plot behind this, Morgan Adams and her slave, William Shaw, are on a quest to recover the 3 portions of a treasure map. Unfortunately, the final portion is held by her murderous uncle, Dog. Her crew is skeptical of the leadership abilities, so she must complete her quest before they mutiny against her. This is made yet more difficult by the efforts of the British Crown to end her pirate raids. And again, I'm not going to say it's an awful movie, but I think it's one of those movies that they put a lot of money into and it just flopped at the box office. And this is a Lionsgate release. And even though Matthew Modine, after this, he did some other movies, Dark Knight Rises, Full Metal, well, this is before, after that. See, that was 1995. So he did have some other movies, but he wasn't the leading character like in Gross Anatomy. Yeah, pretty much it really dampened his career. I think the next time people really kind of recognize him in somewhat of a major role is when he was in the Netflix television series Stranger Things. So my 10987 pick for movies that ruined or almost ruined an actor's career, Matthew Modine, Cutthroat Island. And this is a Lionsgate release. My number 5 pick for movies that flopped is the 2004 action crime fantasy, Catwoman. This is directed by one named Pitof, P-I-T-O-F, Pitof. This is produced by Bruce Berman, written by Bob Kane. This stars Halle Berry, Benjamin Bratt, Sharon Stone, Lambert Wilson, and Francis Conroy. The plot behind this, liquidated after discovering a corporate conspiracy, Mountbatten graphic artist Patient Phillips washes up on an island where she's rescued and endowed with the prowess of a cat, and she's eager to use her new skills as a vigilante. Before you can say cat and mouse, handsome gumshoe Tom Lone is on her tail, fascinated by both her personas. And this didn't kill her career, but the movie just got such bad reviews. And this could possibly be worse than Superman Returns as far as a superhero movie. It was just rather flat, not any really great action scenes. It could have been a made-for-TV movie, or it could be a television series. It was just really that flat. And I think Halle Berry's a beautiful actress. She's had some decent roles. I love her in Boomerang. But this movie didn't do any great favors, and she's never, especially for winning Academy Award, has never had another really blockbuster movie. So I'm a number 1098765 pick, and this is a Warner Brothers release, Halle Berry and Catwoman. My number 5 pick is the 1997 action science fiction film, Batman and Robin. It's directed by Joel Schumacher, produced by Mitchell E. Deterve, written by Bob Kane. This stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, George Clooney, Chris O'Donnell, Uma Thurman, Alicia Silverstone, John Glover, Vivica A. Fox. Let's see who else in there. Those are the big names. The plot behind this, Batman and Robin deal with relationship issues while preventing Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy from attacking Gotham City. And Chris O'Donnell seemed like he was on the fast track as far as just being in a lot of movies. And let's just check out Chris O'Donnell. What movies? Let's see. Batman Forever was in 1995. He did Batman again in 1997. Then you see him in movies like Cats and Dogs, The Revenge. He did Max Payne. Everything else before that was like most of his movies or bigger parts were prior to Batman and Robin. And this should have been a blockbuster. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger, Alicia Silverstone, all these big names, Vivica Fox. But it really came off as kind of goofy, kind of comical, somewhat similar to the Adam West Batman. I don't know if that was the feel they were going for, but it really came off as really goofy. Nothing like the Christian Bale Batman. Nothing like the Dark Knight. It was more comic strip-like. And I don't think Chris O'Donnell's career ever recovered after that. So 10-9-8-7-6-5 is 10-9-8-7-6-5. 4. My number 4 pick for movie flops that killed a person's career, Batman and Robin, Chris O'Donnell. My number 3 pick is the 2000 action-adventure science fiction film, Battlefield Earth. This was directed by Roger Christian, produced by Don Carmody, written by Corey Mandel. It stars John Travolta, Barry Pepper, Forrest Whitaker, Kim Coates, Sabine Carcenti. The plot behind this: in the year 3000, man is no match for the Cyclos, a greedy, manipulative race of aliens on a quest for ultimate profit. Led by the powerful Terry, the Cyclos are stripping Earth's claim of natural resources, using the broken remnants of humanity as slaves. What is left of the human race has descended into a near primitive state. After being captured, it's up to Tyler to save mankind. And this should have killed John Travolta's career, but he's John Travolta. He's been acting since the 70s, so it took a hit on his career. But in my opinion, it hit Barry Pepper so much harder. Barry Pepper was, again, to me, on the fast track of doing movies. You saw him in things like The Green Mile, Knock Around Boys. But after this, Saving Private Ryan, 7 Pounds. But after this movie, you just didn't hear about him anymore. You might see him here and there in B movies. And the movie just, and I'm a big sci-fi fan. The movie is just really weird. And by the way, it's a Mill Creek release. And if I didn't do the last one, of course, Batman is Warner Brothers. But just my little knowledge of the movie, the background behind the movie, I believe it's supposed to have a loose relationship with Scientology. I'm not trying to dump on anybody's religion, though. But it just came off really weird, disjointed, and it flopped big and I think it's another movie where they threw a lot of money into it, and it flopped. And John Travolta took a little hit, but I think Barry Pepper took the bigger hit. So my number 3 pick for movie flops that ruined or almost ruined a person's or actor's career, Battlefield Earth. My number 2 pick is the 2005 action-adventure fantasy science fiction film, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This is directed, produced, and written by George Lucas. This stars Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, Hayden Christensen, Ian McDermott, and Samuel, say it with me, motherfucking Jackson. The plot behind this: the evil Darth Sidious enacts his final plan for unlimited power, and heroic Jedi Anakin Skywalker must choose a side. And I'm a huge Star Wars fan. If you're familiar with the channel, was alive when they had the first Star Wars 1977, went there, saw it in the theater. This installment, and I know the exact scene that pretty much killed his career, and I don't want to, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you, though, but it was a scene where he was supposed to exude grief, despair, upset, and I guess he overdid or underdid it. The fans just crucified him. His career was never the same after this, and he had done some pretty decent things prior to this. Let me see. Jumper. That was a really decent movie, decent 3D movie. He did Takers. But after this, his career just kind of plummeted. And I don't think it was that bad, but for some reason, science fiction and comic book fans, they are the most brutal. And if you don't do what they like, they just kill you on the internet. And I think this really killed his career. And I don't think the performance was that bad. And this is... who does Star Wars? 20th Century Fox release. My number 2 pick for career killers, Hayden Christensen, Revenge of the Sith. My number 1 pick for biggest career killer of all times, in my opinion, the 1998 comedy romance, Soul Man. It was directed by Stephen Miner, produced and written by Carol Black, who probably needs her ass kicked. This stars C. Thomas Howell, Ray Don Chong, Eric Gross, James Earl Jones, may he rest in peace, and Melora Hardin. The plot behind this: Caucasian prospective grad student's affluent family won't pay his way through law school, so he takes tanning pills to darken his skin in order to qualify for an African-American scholarship at Harvard. He soon gets more than he bargained for as he begins to learn what life is really like for blacks in America. And essentially what this movie was modern-day blackface. If you're not familiar with blackface, look it up on the internet. Probably not the channel for this. Look up people like Al Jolson. And what I mean by the movie was essentially blackface. You had a white guy over-exaggerating what I guess the theater or the writer would perceive to be black attributes. And I know people would say, well, what about Robert Downey Jr. in Tropical Thunder? Basically played a black character. A little different, that's a little bit more nuanced. I think the whole movie Tropical Thunder was making fun of Hollywood, just like actors playing mentally disabled people, never go full on. And I think that was kind of their nuance of making fun of actors playing roles that they're not ethnically aligned to. And I think a perfect movie or perfect example of it doing it right is Melvin Van Peebles' Watermelon Man. Watermelon Man is essentially a comedy about a white guy who wakes up black. And initially they wanted to do that with a white actor and basically playing a black role, a black character throughout the majority of the movie. Melvin vehemently disagreed to that. And I believe that's why I made that movie such a good movie. This, on the other hand, is just very cringeworthy. I'd be very surprised if this gets a Blu-ray release. And I don't think his career ever recovered after that. So my number 1 pick for career killers, C. Thomas Howell, Soul Man. And these are my top 10 flops that ruined or almost ruined an actor or actress's career. If you made this far in the video, smash the like. Give me the big thumbs up. If there is a movie flop in here that you think killed an actor or actress' career, please leave it in the comments. Other than that, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Please, everyone be safe. Deuces.